Hey, what's up guys? This is Josh, and today we're going to be cloning ourselves in Photoshop. Cloning yourself in Photoshop isn't anything new, but it's a lot of fun whether you're doing it for yourself or for a client. So without further ado, let's take a look at the photos we have to work with today. Alright, so we're inside of Adobe Photoshop, and we have 3 photos here. And there's the first one. We'll hide that, hide that. So we've got these 3 photos. It looks like if we adjust the opacity, yeah, so it's going to overlap with that image a bit. So when you're setting up your shots, you want to think about your composition and where each clone is going to be in the shot. That way, when you composite it together, none of the clones are like intersecting in the exact same space. Other things you want to watch out for are consistent lighting. So like this one I did outside, you'd want to do it fairly quickly, especially if there are clouds moving overhead and shadows are changing, because that can come back to bite you later in the edit. These particular photos I did myself, so I just focused on the bench and then set a 10-second timer. Now let's go ahead and composite these together. All right, so the first step is we're going to take care of these 2 top images. So I'm going to reduce the opacity of this image, and we can see indeed we're overlapping. I'm going to zoom in. Easy way to zoom in if you have a scroll wheel on your mouse is to hold Alt and use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the mask button. I'm going to hit D on the keyboard, and that is going to reset my swatches to black and white. And then I'm going to select a brush, and we're going to do 50% hardness. So another shortcut you should know is the left and right brackets. Those actually change the brush size. We're going to be using those a lot. So I'm going to hit X on the keyboard to change my foreground color to black, and then I'm just going to start painting. So I actually want to erase part of that layer so that I can see the layer underneath of it. So we're just going to start doing that now. So just take your brush, start working your way around, and you can see I'm painting out the guy's leg. Let's not worry about that just yet. We're gonna come back and fix that. So let's just worry about getting all of this guy. Okay, and something else, let's make our brush a little bit bigger. We want to make sure and get that shadow in. Make sure all of that shadow is in. All right, now we're gonna take our opacity all the way back up to 100 so that we can have a little bit better idea of what we're doing. So the guy on the left, next we gotta paint his legs back in. So we're gonna zoom way in. We're gonna switch our brushes, hitting X, make sure it's white, and then we're just gonna start painting his legs back in. And you know, you could do this with the pen tool. I prefer clicking, holding Shift, and then working my way down, and then click, and that'll draw a straight line with the brush. So that speeds up things a little bit, and sometimes it's easy enough to just paint it. Looking good. Now there was a little bit of cuff from the blue jean down here. Decrease the brush size, get into those details. And we'll paint the rest in. Very nice. Very, very nice. All right, that's the hard part. I'm gonna turn this guy off for a minute and just focus on these 2 bottom layers. So the top layer, I'm gonna bring the opacity down to see where that guy is. Okay, and I'm going to create a mask for the layer that's on top. And once again, I'm going to paint with black as my foreground color to reveal that bottom layer. Now again, we want to be careful about these shadows here. Get as much of that shadow in as you can. All right, I'm gonna turn the opacity back up. Looking good. Now when we turn on the top layer, you can see that our bottom layer has disappeared. That's because we need to mask out this section of the image. Now this image we've already masked. So as kind of a shortcut, what if we could take this mask and apply it to that top layer? To do that, we're going to Command or Control click on top of the mask, and it's going to make a selection for us. It's gonna select that mask. Now with that selection active, we're going to go ahead and turn that top layer back on. You can see our selection is still active. We're going to go up and select the marquee tool, and we're going to right click on the canvas and select inverse. Because before what we were selecting was everything outside of this area. Now all we have to do with white as our foreground color is hit backspace or delete on your keyboard, and it's gonna mask that out for us. And then deselect by hitting Command or Control D. Now the only thing I'm not liking about this is you can see we have a little bit of a color variation here in the shadows. So I'm gonna grab my brush again, and I'm just going to kind of feather that out with a really big brush. There, not too shabby. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's how to clone yourself inside of Photoshop. If you want to check out the Photoshop file or the source images in this tutorial, they'll be available to my patrons on patreon.com/JoshMcDarris. Patrons also get a big discount on my digital products, which include Lightroom presets, LUTs for video editing, animated transitions, and a lot more coming up. The first of my digital products will be released this week, so stay tuned for that. And if you enjoyed this video, if you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe for future tutorials and leave a comment and let me know what you would like to learn inside of Photoshop. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.